look like I've got some sort of alien headwear on or hair under here, but it's something to protect my head because the way this thing is broken, the arms are digging into my scalp. So if you're distracted by the headwear, I'm sorry. I can't really do much about it. I have next week. I get more money. My disability funds come in, then I'll be able to get new headphones. Fast and yeah, yeah. Okay. I'll go up there. Anyways, I thought I'd get on and give you guys the nuts and bolts. Um, we'll, we're just gonna go with the right from the get go. I was born intersex, raised female, transitioned in my 30s. Born intersex means that I was uh, born without, I was born diagnosed later with Turner syndrome, which is chromosome 45XO, meaning most people have two sex chromosomes. I only have one. So instead of an XX or an XY, I just have an X. I was born completely gender neutral. I have no internal organs of that stripe, sexual organs, so I can't have kids. Never made hormones for myself, not enough to really uh, puberty finish me. I got through a little bit because there are other places in the body that produce some hormone, but I didn't have enough in my system to fully mature my body. Uh, some things that happen, secondary characteristics, like chest. I did have to have chest surgery, chest reconstruction, because I did have a chest, not a huge one. I was blessed with not having that because that would have hurt my back even more. And so thankfully that part I missed. But back to the early stuff. I don't have a lot of the equipment for sexual uh, reproduction. Nothing internal, external is gender neutral, ambiguous, however you want to call that. Uh, so I've lived with that, but I was raised female because outwardly I presented just enough female that it was passable, and nobody questioned it. But that was neither here nor there. I had to get taught in my 20s how to be more feminine because I never picked it up properly as a kid. I was always a tomboy, always more masculine presenting in my way of being, always in my thinking, in my, you know, I remember being with a roommate. Hello, Sister Glennis. If you ever see this, hello. It's about you, this particular story, because you really went and said this. I love you. I miss you. I hope you're doing well. She told me my niece was just born, and I just came through the door and said, "Hey, oh, my niece is just born," and she asked me, "Oh, well, what about them? Oh, healthy, 10 toes, awesome." She just looked at me and said, "Oh, you think like a guy," and I stood there for a second, going, "Huh?" And I just shook it off and went away. Later on, I realized, of course, I thought like a guy. I am a guy. I always have been a guy, despite appearances to some people. I prefer male playmates, male playing with my male cousins. Never really enjoyed dolls in the same way that most girls enjoy them. Um, all that kind of thing. My local neighborhood friends as a kid were more of the male side. The girls kind of shunned me. Uh, yeah, that happened throughout school, right through high school. I had no, no. High school was different. By then, I had very few friends in general because of a lot of other issues. Um, my best friend in high school was female, a year below me in school. Hi, Dan. Uh, but going back to childhood, intersex was an important one. I'll get to some of the other medical things along the way. I was also born deaf. Uh, to the Until the age of about 2, 3, I wore no hearing aids. I was completely deaf, learning sign language and all that. I was, but during the height of oralism, which I was raised under, oralism being the tendency to not allow people to use their hands to communicate. Uh, I'll get into that story another time, but I always have used my hands to communicate. Sometimes I'm holding something and using it to fidget, and that's communication with myself. So I'm always communicating with something, somewhere, somehow with my hands. Who's that over there? Oh, that's Nick. What are you doing? Hi, Nick. Yeah, they're the boys are out. Anyways, until I was, yes, oralism. That's where I was. Um, the idea was that the only way to learn English for a deaf person was to immerse them in it. So no hands, no lip reading, all oral, all oral, no visual ads, no visual support. So that's why I talk a lot more than I sign. I was not raised with signs, so sometimes it doesn't come naturally to me, especially when I've been alone for a long time. I use them and I sign and I watch, but communication with them for clear communication, it's hard for me. I'm not always capable of gathering it together and putting it out in a way that makes sense. Makes sense to me, but it doesn't always make sense to the situation. And talking and signing at the same time, it's hard. It's hard for even the most accomplished signers and interpreters and deaf people. If they can speak and sign at the same time, oh my god, that's a skill. That is a fucking skill, and I can't do it very well. So I'm using what I'm able to use right now. Maybe I'll get more fluidity in my sign later again, but right now, no, it's not there. Anyways, when I was 3, I got hearing aids, so all sign language stopped when I was about 2, 3 ish, and so I adapted. I adapted really well because my hearing capabilities with hearing aids is only just below normal. Most people can live with about, they say percentages, but it's a lot more complicated than that. But the very simplest kind of parallel is people can live with about a 15% loss without noticing it at all. I probably, with hearing aids, am about 15 to 20% across the board. It's the whole chart, right? You got low sounds to high sounds and soft sounds to loud sounds. So if you're up here and this is the top 15% of hearing ability, anybody up here is considered normal hearing. With hearing aids, I'm just below that. Without them, I'm down all the way down here somewhere. Not profoundly deaf, so I can hear some things if they're loud enough or if they're the right pitches, but mostly I'm deaf, and it just is. But I was raised in a hearing family with hearing tendencies and all that kind of stuff. Uh, only got a deaf appropriate alarm clock when I was about 15. So it's uh, it's still difficult for me to do certain things in my life because I wasn't given the capability young enough to make it be a permanent thing. I reach for my hearing aid before I think about getting technology that supports deafness in the world. I talk sooner than my hands do. I think my hearing level is different than normal, but it's keep going. Yeah, raw and unfiltered and uncut these are. So you're getting what you're getting. Um, so I was raised in a hearing world. I also have a myriad of other medical issues. This you can see I was born with a button ear. This is actually pulled out from what it was when I was a baby. It was truly a button ear. It was surgically altered so that I could wear hearing aids and things like this. And it's on this side. It's a very narrow channel. Very so it's its own thing. I'm legally blind in this eye. If I close this eye, I can see out of it, but everything's blurry and fuzzy and slightly indistinct. So it's a challenge to see out of it when it's alone. But if I have both eyes open and I close the blind one, it really doesn't affect how I see things. There's not enough input from this side on its own to give me stereoscopic vision or anything. I am stuck, stuck with monocular vision whichever way I go, and the left side is easier to see out of than the right. The left side is the only reason I got a driver's license because I'm able to see fine out of it. I've got good vision from that side, and so they said, okay, sure, I'll tell you that story too another time. Uh, Maybe later in this video, we'll see. But I have neurodivergence. I am autistic ADHD, and I have been tested with a very high IQ. So my mind runs and bounces and goes and makes all sorts of weird connections sometimes. So it's always on rumble, 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 rumble in my head. I try to do things to distract myself sometimes, but otherwise it's an interesting ride some days. I make connections that people don't see coming, and it's just the way my brain is wired. Um, then we go down. We've got the eye. We've got the ear. Oh yeah, there's a very minor here. It's that I have a flattened ball joint on this side of my jaw. All of this is related uh, to something else that I was born with. It's also I also only have one kidney. The side's missing, so all of this side is slightly underdeveloped or maldeveloped, and that was from a bicord umbilical. I was born. Most umbilical cords have three channels, one for input, two for input, one for each side, and one for output. Waste. Um, my waste one, my waste channel is fine, obviously enough. Otherwise, that would be a problem by itself. My headset just said charge me, so you're gonna get this one. And you hole, little hole in the wall. There it is. I'd rather do this than try to have to take the dang thing off and turn it on again and all that kind of stuff. So, welcome to my weird little world. Um, Anyways, a bicord umbilical means there's only one input channel for me. Right. There's only one input channel and one out. So, my right side obviously wasn't the one missing the channel. So, the left side had to feed everything. So the left side got completed first, got all the nutrients it needed, and then anything left over went to the right side. So my eye is underdeveloped, my ear is underdeveloped, my jaw is underdeveloped, and I'm missing a kidney. Uh, and it probably contributed to some degree to my scoliosis as well, because there's a twist in my spine as well. It's all interconnected. Um, and then we have, what's the next one? Oh yeah, I have a condition called torticollis, which means twisted head. Means if you see me and I'm hanging out like this, or you see me and my head's tilted to one side, there's a reason for it. I'm Especially if I'm tired, my head will tilt particular to one side. Usually the same direction, but it'll tilt either way sometimes. Especially I'm kind of tilted in my chair, so it doesn't look like it right now. Um, so I say a lot of ums and ahs, I know, but here we are. I'm just freeballing, trying to give you who I am in a cohesive manner, even when it doesn't feel it right now. It's a story. It's my CV of things that I am. And yes, I'm torticollis. So I have my head tilts. I have a fused, naturally fused C4, C5 spinal fusion, which is the neck, lower end of the neck, just before the shoulder blades, shoulder and down the lumbar spine. Um, I have that was born. I was born with that, as far as I know. Yeah, as far as I know. So I have difficulty sometimes turning my head. I have, and then combine that with the spine and everything, and another condition. I have a muscle condition is hypertonicity. Basically means I don't have cerebral palsy, but I have extra tight muscles. I can just stretch my leg out, and if I stretch it wrong, I get an instant Charlie horse down the lower calf. I know how to fix it real quick, but if I'm waking up in the morning and it's this, oh my god, it's painful. It's not fun sometimes, but it is what it is. It's part of my life. Um, yeah, I have a muscle condition, which also probably contributed to the scoliosis, which is the next step that we're at. Um, I have, if you look at me on a day to day, you'll see a very flat back because I don't have small in my back after surgery. But you also don't see a lot of twist in that sense. If I were Quasimodo in the 1300s, yeah, I would have a huge hump problem. But I was fused as a teenager with metal rods up and down the spine. But I also have what's called an S or a double curve, which means that instead of doing one of these around the body and causing a giant hump, I have my spine did one of these and balanced itself out and go from most, single curve scoliosis is more of a C shape. I have an S. I have an S. And instead of making a hump, my body went, which is one of the reasons why I'm shorter than the average bear, especially in my family. I'm 5'2". Most of my family is 5'5" or higher. Most of the guys, especially, are 6 foot and up. My sister was 5'10". I think she's losing a little bit of her height too. I lost a bit of mine. I was 5'3" immediately after surgery, but over the years I've lost a bit, so I'm now 5'2", and that's another reason why I have a lot of chronic pain issues. The body just does what the body wants to do. Um, so yeah, I had surgery as a teenager. I was about 15. I was an 8-hour surgery. I have two main rods down my spine, and a single cross piece. Now there used to be a second cross down the bottom, but that one had to be removed because it came out on its own and was floating around and about to attack my single kidney. Which was pretty fucking dangerous because it was the thing was not quite as it was thicker than one of these pencil leads. It was about the thickness of a regular pencil lead, completely flat on one side, and then a jagged little thing across the top of the other one, and it was just ripping through everything. So they had to pull it out, obviously, and it was like this far away from ripping through my kidney. Mostly, it just went through my back muscles and stuff. So that's that. Um, then we went down. We started at the bottom and we came up to the top. So we'll just leave that one alone, because we've already been there. I do have, because of the chronic pain issues and having been on medication for over a decade for chronic pain management, including heavy opiates and NSAIDs and all that kind of stuff, which I have to balance my medications because I only have one kidney and all this. It's just a complex situation. Um, Darling, it's a complex situation. Dr. Pepper. Not drinking Dr. Pepper. I like Dr. Pepper. It's my favorite soda. I do drink other drinks. I drink water. I drink tea. Today I'm in Dr. Pepper mode. And so, you'll see me riding around with a cane. You'll see me walking around. Sometimes you'll see me just barreling, and some of it has to do with how the weather's doing, how I'm feeling there. Um, so I think I'll take this video to close about now because the other stuff is of a different category. The medical shit. This is where I live. This is where I'm at. My body is a temple, but it's a fucking broken down, decrepit temple that's got cobwebs and leaky pipes and all this kind of stuff going on. Oh yeah, one of the other things that I've had happen because of my back, I have sciatic issues on my right side. If I stand in the wrong position for too long, my big toe goes numb and it's not fun. So yeah, it's all what it is. And so if you hear me talk about medical issues and you think you're not a doctor, you're not a nurse, honey, I spent so much time in the medical system just on my own issues, let alone having a nurse for a mother and my brother's issues, which is another story for another time again. So, honey, medically, I could write a dissertation on being intersex, having chronic pain issues, having disability issues, neurodivergence, all of that contributing to where I am today because of bullshit from other people as well as the needs of the body and the needs of the brain. So I hope that gives some people a little bit of insight as to where I'm at with that. I'm going to follow this pretty quickly with another video. I'll talk about my academics uh, for you so that you get a real good idea of why I talk the way I talk about the things I talk about. Some of it has to do with the spiritual path I was on or trying to be on, and some of it's just educational. Some of it's psychologically attached, so there may be some trigger things for people, trigger things, blah, 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 blah. There's another one, I forgot. I have gastric reflux disease, but most people who have gastric reflux kind of disease have it in their chest and get heartburn from it and stuff. I have I have almost no teeth. If you didn't know this, I'm trying to get back onto Canadian Dental, but for some reason the system is frustrating the hell out of me and I can't figure it out. So, you know, I'll figure it out eventually. I know, but right now it's just like, oh my god, I can't. But my gastric reflux comes right up into my mouth. Been fighting the teeth for years since I was a kid, really. The ADHD doesn't help because that makes me forget to brush my teeth. And then there's you know, then there was also medical dry mouth and stuff from medications and all of these factors that just collided. And so now I live with that. It sucks. I'll tell you that much. Um, it really does. But being on disability, not having the funds to pay for it yourself, being, you know, unable to figure out the new dental plan, all these kinds of things, and then on top of it, even things like going to the training school for dentistry, DBC and stuff like that. They offer discounts if you want to let the students do it, but for the longest time, I have known that I can't really sit in those chairs for a long time without being in absolute agony. I can't. Last time I went, I couldn't even sit there for 5 minutes. It's like, nope, 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 can't do this anymore. Can't. So I've been without for a while. Partly through my own fault, partly through the system, partly through the body just refusing. They need you to be able to sit for these things for 3 hour sessions or whatever. No, 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 no. I can't do that. I cannot do that. It's just too painful. I might look into it again soon because maybe I'm a little better now and I could do it. Just sedate me, put me to sleep and take care of it. Honestly, that's what I want. Give me something permanent that I don't have to worry about falling apart again. Please, God, please, Spirit, that would be a great thing when they got there with me. I have these two lovely hairs on my eyebrow that grow longer than everything else. Fun to play with them sometimes. Fun to play with my stones, my crystals, things like this. Yeah, it's me fiddling with shit all the time that helps me kind of get through the words. Yeah, the overview of them all is Turner syndrome, Klippel-Feil syndrome, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and the biport umbilical. That combination is who you see before you medically. If this was a lot, welcome to my world. It's a lot. I know it is. It's my reality, though. So I protect my body. I protect myself when I need to. I try to do this, that, the other, and sometimes it's just not going to happen. So I go, okay, today's a home day. Today's a not going out here today because the body is saying, fuck that. Fuck it. Uh, yeah, we'll leave it there now. That's the medical diagnoses. I hope it helps you to know me a little better. And we'll see you in the next one.